Hey guys, my name is Troy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Nope Trope book tag. So this tag was created by Zoe's All Booked. I will leave the original tag in the description if you want to go watch that. But basically this book tag is all about questions relating to tropes, I guess. So like love triangles or like different, romance tropes and stuff. And we're going to be going through that, and like there's different questions for each book or for each trope. And I picked out a bunch of books for each trope question thing. I don't know, it's just going to be a fun tag. If you are excited, make sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe to my channel for more bookish content every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And also make sure to leave a comment down below with what you thought of this tag when you finish the video. And also, quick announcement, I will be live streaming on Saturday. I'm like 80% sure, and I will give you the confirmed 100% like if I'm doing it or not on Wednesday. So I think I'm going to be doing it at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I'll get you guys more information through the community tab and my next video. So be on the lookout for that, but I'm pretty sure I'll be live streaming this Saturday. But without further ado, let's get into the tag. Okay, the first question / trope is eavesdropping with miscommunication, and this is name a book you heard great things about and expected to love but ended up hating. So basically, like, books I heard a lot of great things about, I was so hyped to read them, then they fell flat. So basically, my first one for this, actually my two picks for this, I'll just go through both, are Renegades by Marissa Meyer and A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. And I talked about these in my like worst books I've read in 2020 video. I'll leave that up there for you guys if you want to check that out. But basically, these two books were just DNFs. Like, I DNF this at page 60, I DNF this at page 150. I usually don't DNF books, so this is really saying something. And I heard a lot of great things about Renegades. Like, I know a lot of people were talking about this book. There's like a new book that came out in the series, and I was so excited. It was like superpowers, the covers were beautiful. It just fell flat because it was boring, it was long. I was never really interested in superheroes, so there was also that, and just like in general, I didn't really get attached to the characters, and the plot was weird, and just the main character was on the evil side. It was just a strange book for me. And then for A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, this book had such an old feel to it. I don't know when it was published. I'll go check that. Okay, it was written in 2015, but it just had a really old vibe, like a classics vibe, and I didn't like that. It was also focusing on like London. It was just kind of boring. Like the magic aspect didn't really catch me. It was just kind of flat. I didn't really fall in love with the main character. It just did not get into like a problem quick enough. It was more about politics and stuff, and I just feel like it was just a little bit, written for like an older audience, and I just didn't think this was more of like my kind of book, because I'm like all over for the child books and all the fun middle grade fantasy magic books, and this just kind of felt a little bit too, adultish in a sense, because I'm out here trying to live my childhood dreams. But yeah, that's the first question. Wait, the next trope is love triangles, and you know how I feel about them. I do not like love triangles, and I'll talk about that later in the last question of the tag. But the question that is associated with this trope is name a series where you can't pick your favorite book. I picked two for this as well, and this was the Throne of Glass and the Sarah J. Maas A Court of Thorns and Roses series, because I just can't pick a favorite in these books, because Sarah J. Maas's books are really, really, really well written and so beautifully narrated, and the main characters are all awesome. Like, I felt such a huge connection to the characters, the plot was amazing, and the worlds that she created are amazing. I'm so excited to read Throne of Glass. I'm a little bit behind on my TBR for this month, and I was planning to read this book, but you know what, I think I'll save this for next month. But like, just both of these books, all of Sarah J. Maas's like fantasy like books kind of that she's writing are so good. She's such a talented writer, and therefore I just can't pick favorite books. Like for the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, I love the first book, I love the second book, I love the third book. I can't really compare them either because they're just not similar. They're all crazy and they all have different aspects to it. So like it's just hard to pick a favorite for this series. And then this series also is just kind of it's so wild and it gets so crazy, and it's like I just can't compare them. Like book series that I can pick a favorite, Harry Potter, KOTLC, Unwanted, like those series I can pick a favorite because there's a sense of repetitivity in them. Like Harry Potter, they go to the school every single year, they get off on Hogwarts, there's a similar feel to them. But those two books series were just not really like similar in all the books, and that's what I like. Oh my gosh, the next one is not like other girls / didn't know I'm beautiful. That trope is so common. Anyways, the question associated with that is name a book that has a pretty cover but was boring as heck. So I've got a couple. Alright, so I've got 3 picks for this question. I've got got A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas, A Girl Goes Into the Forest by Peg Alford Purcell, and I've got We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazil, whatever. But I'll just start off with this. I DNF'd this book. It has a really, really pretty cover. That's why I bought it. Anyways, I don't know if I got this or someone else got it for me, but this is We Hunt the Flame. It has such a pretty cover with like just these swirls and this mountain, and the text is so beautiful, like with the gold and the character and the front and the moon and the sky. It is a beautiful book, and I just love the cover so much, and it just fell flat. Like, if the story was written as beautiful as this cover, I would have loved it, but it was kind of clickbaity because it was an amazing book cover, but it did not hold, you know, my attention very well. Next up we got A Girl Goes Into the Forest by Peg Alford Purcell. This is also a really cute cover, and I guess like really early on when I was starting when I had my other YouTube channels, I found this book because I was trying to find ARCs because I was like really obsessed with like getting free books and stuff. I literally found this website, and they will like let you email them to see if you can like request ARCs and stuff, and so I requested this, and then she sent a few others with her, but I didn't like any of them, and I don't know why I did this because the books on there were so bad. Anyways, that's besides the point, but yeah, this book was so beautiful. I wanted to read it, so I was like, yo, why don't I ask? And yeah, I asked to have this book, and it was just basically like a collection of short stories, but they weren't really interesting, they weren't really fun, they were kind of depressing, emotional stories. So yeah, it wasn't like one of my favorites, but I just wanted to get it because of the cover, and it did not go through. And then next up, we've got A Court of Frost and Starlight, which the cover is so pretty with like the outline and like the dress and just like the sparkles and all that stuff. Like it's just so pretty. I don't know if the lighting can do justice for this, but like it is so pretty. I loved it. It has a really pretty cover, but I didn't like it. It was just so unnecessary and not a good book. So yeah, let's get into the next question. Alright, the next trope is all-consuming love. Name a book that gave you a book hangover, and I honestly don't have much experience with book hangovers. Like, I rarely really get into reading slumps, but I have like gotten to like a reading slump kind of like twice this year, and like a little bit in the early month of July. But yeah, I just don't really have any books that I kind of specifically remember like giving me a book hangover. I don't know, I've always loved reading so much. I haven't really been the type of person that gets into reading slump after reading slump after reading slump, but I will pick out like one book that I thought gave me a book hangover. And that pick is Legacy by Shannon Messenger, and this is the 8th and final book as of now in the series. She's coming out with like 2 more or something. But yeah, this book just gave me a book hangover this year. Like, that's really all I remember. It's just like I kind of fell into like a little reading slump, a little mini reading slump after reading this. In the middle of this, I like started reading Hunger Games because I got so bored. I read the whole Hunger Games trilogy before I finished this book. So yeah, it just gave me a little bit of a hangover, and I had to read some other books to try to get me back into it. And I guess it doesn't really match the trope of all-consuming love because it kind of is the opposite, but I did really love this book once I got back into the reading vibe. But yeah, that's really the only book I got for that trope question thing. Alrighty, so the next trope is a douchebag boyfriend, which is also a common trope that I've actually seen a lot recently. And the question is, name a book that took you a while to get into but you ended up loving. But first I want to talk about Slay by Brittany Morris, because this literally has the douchebag boyfriend trope in it, because Kiara's boyfriend Malcolm was a douchebag. It's just so ironic how I picked this, because this is also like it has a douchebag boyfriend in it, and I didn't love it at first. Like, it took me a while to get into. So if it's both of both worlds, and I just never really liked Kiara's boyfriend in the start. He was mad suspicious, and then we find stuff out at the end. It's like crazy, but he said some kind of unnerving things from the start, and yeah, he was just kind of like a douchebag. So yeah, anyways, I also I didn't end up loving the start of it because it just took so long to get into the problem, but once it hit the problem at like page 120, like 1/3 of the way through the book, or even a little bit more, like 40% of the way through the book, we finally hit the problem. I loved the rest of it. But it just took me a little while to get into because the world building, or not even the world building, but like the character building and like the introduction and all that stuff, it took way too long. And I know like she had to bring in a bunch of racial topics and stuff, but like I just want to get into the juicy action, bro. So I feel like there could have been some stuff skipped there, but she also needed a actual book, and without the 100 pages of exposition and stuff, there would only be 200 pages of the book, and that wouldn't sell very well. So yeah. Next up, we've got 3 Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. So it actually took me very, very long to get into this. It took me to like the page 300 or page 250 to get into this and loving it, because I remember this was one of my worst books in 2020, but I did love the ending. Like, I will not mistake this. Like, the beginning was horrible, the middle was horrible, but the ending was amazing. So it did take me a while to get into it and love it, but it was not a good book. I don't really know. It's just like, it's a good book, but it took me so long to get into it. But when it did hit that action, I was loving it. And that's really all I have to say for that. And then last up for this one is The Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer, because technically, like, it did take me a little bit while to get into it because I just wasn't really interested from the start, and it kind of took me like onto like 100 pages to get me like kind of like really interested. I buddy read this with Lily the Book Nerd, and so I was kind of reading it fast, but then I got into like a little reading slump. But yeah, like basically it just took me a little while to get into this book, and I ended up loving it because it got so much better as it went on. It was just kind of like the start was not like as entertaining as I would have thought, because it was just like, you know, the same thing as Beauty and the Beast, and it took a while for it to get more original. The last question is, name your favorite or least favorite trope, and I'll tell you guys, I really like the, what's it called, like the chosen one trope. I know that's kind of like such a basic thing to say, but I just honestly like that, where like the character finds out that they're special, or like that they have magical powers. I've just really been into that recently, and I also like the friends to lovers tropes as well, which I know that's also another basic thing, but I mean, I liked it. I also sort of like love triangle. I have a love-hate relationship with love triangles. I'm hating them right now, but I also love a good love triangle once in a while. I don't know, that's really all I got. But I'm not really an expert on tropes. I've never really thought about tropes that much, to be honest. Like I kind of just, you know, go with the flow. I've never really just kind of tried to notice tropes and stuff. I guess I've never really had much experience with tropes and talking about tropes. So this is kind of like an interesting thing for me to do, an interesting tag. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, it was just fun to talk about some of the like commonly used tropes, and the Nope trope book tag was so much fun. And I also tag, I want Sookroop and Books to do this. I want Lily the Book Nerd to do this. And if the Legendary Reader is watching, I want them to do that as well. So the Legendary Reader, Sookroop and Books, and Lily the Book Nerd. Those three. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel down below for more bookish content every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Also, make sure to leave a comment down below with some of your answers to the questions. I would love to hear your inputs. So yeah, just like put some of your favorite and least favorite book tropes, and I'll have the questions in the description so you can go along and answer them, and I would love to discuss with you guys in the comments. And I'm also trying to ease myself up a little bit about responding to everyone, so if you don't get a response, don't worry. I'm just trying to recuperate my brain because it's literally dead, and after a hard day of work of filming, editing, and responding to comments and uploading and all that stuff, I need a break. So if you don't get a response, please don't get mad. But yeah, also make sure to check out my last video up there, my favorite books of 2020, so you can go over and get some book recommendations from that. I went over like the 10 favorite books in series, and I tried to talk about like new books and stuff. So I hope you guys go check that out. But yeah, that's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best, and I will see you guys in the next video. Happy reading. Bye.